In February 2026, Patch Tuesday rolled out like it always does. Security fixes, minor improvements, nothing out of the ordinary on the surface. But for millions of Windows 10 users, that routine update carried a hidden push that's changing everything. Microsoft has started aggressively nudging systems toward Windows 11, even on hardware that doesn't fully meet the requirements. And once it kicks off, there's often no easy way back. Let's find out how this works, why it's happening now, but what the real risks are for your setup, and how to handle it without getting caught off guard. KB5077181 landed quietly as part of the February 2026 Patch Tuesday cycle. On the official notes, it's framed as standard maintenance for both Windows 10 and 11, bug fixes for File Explorer crashes, security patches against known exploits, and tweaks to improve stability after a rocky 2025. But here's the shift no one expected. For Windows 10 devices past their free support window, which ended October 14, 2025, this update introduced stricter logic around pausing or delaying feature upgrades. Non-ESU. Windows 10 systems, meaning those not paying for Microsoft's extended security updates, now see the pause button grayed out in some cases. Instead, Windows Update prioritizes installation as soon as possible. And for eligible machines, that means prepping Windows 11 version 25, H2 or 26H1 as the next step. Reports from users confirm it. Boot up your PC and a notification hits with options like Upgrade Now or Schedule for Tonight. No clear decline path, especially if your hardware passes basic checks like 4 GB RAM and UEFI mode. Microsoft isn't outright forcing the install on every device yet, but the design makes opting out feel like the exception, not the rule. Windows 10 hit end of support last October, cutting off free monthly security updates for most editions. Microsoft offered ESU as a paid lifeline, $30 for year one, rising annually. But that's aimed at enterprises, not everyday users. Without it, your system stays vulnerable to new threats, from ransomware exploits to 0 days targeting outdated components. This sets the stage for the push. Microsoft has always used end of support as leverage for upgrades, but post-2025, the tactics sharpen. Windows Update now surfaces Windows 11.25 H2 directly on Windows 10, labeling it optional at first glance. Select the wrong button during a restart prompt, and the download begins, often without a visible pause option on non-ESU setups. User forums light up with stories. A Windows 10 Pro machine, stable for years, suddenly restarts into a 20 GB Windows 11 download after a routine patch. It's not universal. Microsoft confirms no blanket mandate, but the combination of no pause updates and prominent upgrade prompts creates the force effect. By February 2026, with 26H1 previews emerging, the pressure builds as older Windows 11 builds like 24H2 near their own. October 2026 cutoff. Windows 11 demands TPM 2.0, secure boot, a compatible CPU from the last decade or so, and at least 4 GB RAM. Plenty of solid PCs miss one or more. Think a 2018 Intel i5 without TPM enabled, or an older AMD Ryzen. Microsoft provided an official registry tweak years ago to ease upgrades. Set Allow Upgrades. With unsupported TPM or CPU to 1 under HKEY _local _machine /system /setup /mo setup. This lets Windows Update offer the upgrade on borderline hardware, skipping full checks during the process. It's still documented and functional as of early 2026. And third-party tools like Rufus automate deeper bypasses, modifying ISO files to ignore all requirements entirely. Recent previews for 26H1 show Microsoft patching some old tricks, like the setup.exe/product server command to tighten control. But the registry method persists, meaning Windows Update can initiate on incompatible PCs without manual intervention. The result? Your update screen might say recommended for Windows 11, even if PC health check flags issues beforehand. Once accepted, it rolls, files intact, apps mostly preserved, but with potential driver hiccups on older gear. This isn't the first time Microsoft has nudged users toward upgrades with subtle changes that shift the balance. Back in 2024, the previews for KB5035853 introduced tweaks that made it easier for near-compatible systems to get Windows 11 offers through Windows Update. These weren't full bypasses, but they loosened the checks just enough to spark heated debates across forums and tech sites. Critics labeled it a backdoor move, pointing out how it seemed to contradict Microsoft's own secure by design messaging. They argued that by quietly expanding the net of eligible devices, Microsoft was prioritizing user counts over the strict hardware standards it had touted from day one. Fast forward to early 2026, and the landscape after Windows 10's end of support has turned that nudge into full pressure. With free security updates gone since October 14th, 2025, staying on Windows 10 exposes systems to mounting risks. Microsoft patched 9 zero-day vulnerabilities in a single 2024 update alone, showing how threats pile up fast without ongoing fixes. Offering Windows 11 through Prominent, Scene Automated Prompts positions it as the straightforward solution, security restored with minimal effort. But bundling those prompts into restart cycles that feel mandatory, especially on non-ESU setups where pause buttons vanish, crosses into aggressive territory. No outright lies or hidden malware taint the process. Instead, it's a carefully engineered system where defaults heavily favor the upgrade path. Pause options disappear on unsupported configurations, and compatibility barriers flex via lingering registry tweaks, and notifications dominate the update screen. This pulls in far more users than a true opt-in ever would. It's control disguised as convenience, amplified by the push toward Copilot plus PCs and AI-driven features in the 26H1 previews. Those demand specific NPU silicon, relegating traditional x86 hardware to a standard track without the full experience. Regular PCs aren't obsolete, they're just sidelined, making the upgrade feel less like choice and more like the only secure road forward. Install Windows 11 through these bypass paths or automated prompts, and the troubles often start right after the initial setup. Microsoft explicitly warns that unsupported configurations come with no guarantees for future updates. Patches might simply fail to install due to absent TPM 2.0 modules or incompatible CPU instruction sets. A detailed 2025 user report highlighted how version upgrades sound like moving from 24H2 to 25H2, frequently stalled on bypassed systems. Users had to manually reapply registry tweaks or even rerun setup commands just to keep cumulative updates flowing, turning routine maintenance into a recurring headache. Performance degradation shows up in predictable ways as well. Without proper TPM 2.0 support, critical security features like full BitLocker disk encryption lose their hardware-backed enforcement, leaving data protection weaker and more reliant on software fallbacks. Secure boot gaps create openings for boot time attacks, where malware could tamper with the startup process before defenses fully load. On older CPUs, such as those from the 8th gen Intel or early Ryzen lines, you'll notice lag spikes during AI-optimized workloads in the emerging 26H1 builds. Even everyday tasks like photo editing or browser tabs feel sluggish if they tap into unoptimized code paths. Basic web browsing and office work might seem fine at first, but cracks appear under load. Rollbacks offer a narrow escape hatch. Within 10 days, head to settings greater than system, greater than recovery, and select go back to revert. But the window closes fast. SUH and data loss risks escalate if your drives fill up mid-process or conflict with corrupt user profiles during the downgrade. Beyond that time frame, you're facing a full clean install from recovery media, often with hours of driver reinstalls and app reconfiguration. For viewers on mobile or non-Windows setups, the deeper concern lies in ecosystem lock-in. Your apps, documents, and custom settings migrate over, but peripherals like older printers or specialized enterprise tools optimized for Windows 10 quirks might refuse to cooperate. Legacy software that relied on specific 10-era behaviors could crash outright, forcing workarounds or replacements. This isn't just a PC swap, it's a subtle tether to Microsoft's full hardware-software stack, where partial compatibility drags down productivity long-term. When KB 5077181 or similar patches land, and the process unfolds in a tight sequence that users across forums have mapped out precisely. Windows Update first runs a loose compatibility check, leaning on that registry bypass like allow upgrades, with unsupported TPM or CPU if it's already set. It doesn't block the path outright. On non-ESU Windows 10 systems, Windows 1125, H2, or even 26H1 previews suddenly flag as available, often sitting right at the top of the update list, demanding attention. A restart prompt follows quickly, presenting limited choices that nudge hard towards schedule for tonight or immediate action, with no prominent decline button in sight. The download kicks off next, typically 15 to 25 gigabytes, and on affected setups, there's no pause option available, leaving you locked in. Multiple reboots handle the install, preserving your files and most apps while scanning for conflicts along the way. Variations hit by addition, Home Auto accepts far more aggressively than Pro, which offers slightly more wiggle room. Enterprise admins can lean on group policy overrides to halt it, but everyday consumers face the full momentum with few defenses. Microsoft positions the entire upgrade push as a straightforward act of user protection, not coercion. End of support leaves systems exposed to security risks. They state clearly across support pages and KB articles, urging everyone to move to Windows 11 for ongoing patches and threat protection. The language stays firm. Windows 10's free updates ended October 14, 2025, so staying put invites exploits that monthly security rollouts would otherwise block. CI/KB notes for updates like those in early 2026 emphasize voluntary choice every step, download when ready, with tools like PC Health Check provided to verify if your hardware truly fits the full requirements up front. They openly acknowledge that bypass methods, such as the registry tweak, allow upgrades with unsupported TPM/OR CPU exist for a practical reason, bridging gaps during major transitions like this one. Stick community discussions on Microsoft forums confirm no immediate plans to block these hacks outright, framing them as temporary aids for near-compatible setups rather than encouraged workarounds. This keeps the door cracked for broader adoption without fully endorsing unsupported installs. Looking ahead, the strategy ties into 26H1's emerging dual tracks. One premium path loaded with AI features for ARM and NPU-equipped Copilot plus PCs, another standard lane for traditional x86 hardware. The current push ensures wide coverage and security continuity before Windows 10 versions fade entirely from official lifelines. It's presented less as a trick and more as inevitable evolution, with choices laid out plainly, even if the defaults lean hard toward upgrading now. First, run PC Health Check from Microsoft's site to baseline your hardware. If it fails TPM or CPU, weigh the risks before any upgrade. On Windows 10, enroll in ESU if feasible. Is the clean stay put option through 2028 for consumers. Pause updates via group policy edits or third-party tools like Shutup 10, but expect limits post-EOL. Disable automatic restarts. Settings greater than Windows Update, greater than Advanced Options, greater than Pause, if available, or active hours. Monitor via Task Scheduler for scheduled defrag or upgrade tasks, and delete if needed. For those proceeding, backup fully, OneDrive, or external drive. Use the official registry bypass only. See avoiding shady ISOs that brick systems. Post-install, verify TPM emulation in BIOS and enable secure boot where possible. Power users, consider LTSC additions for longevity or Linux distros like Ubuntu for seamless transitions on older iron. This isn't isolated. Windows 11.24, 2 ends October 2026, forcing 25A2/26. 1 jumps with similar auto logic. Dual tracks emerge. Full AI agents on Copilot plus hardware, basics elsewhere. Microsoft wants everyone in the new ecosystem, hardware splits notwithstanding. Your $1,000 PC from 2020 isn't junk, it's capable. But staying secure means decisions. Don't rush. Test on a secondary drive if possible. Forums buzz with mid-upgrade panics. Clicked schedule. Now it's 50% with no stop. Others celebrate smooth shifts on bypassed rigs. Pro users gripe over lost pause controls, echoing sysadmin threads. Non-compatible installs run, but expect manual tweaks for monthly patches. As February 2026 unfolds, expect a wider rollout. Check your updates deliberately. Review telemetry, privacy and security greater than diagnostics greater than basic level. Use O&O Shutup 10 for granular blocks post-upgrade. If Windows 11 lands unwanted, still recovery partition rollback within days. Beyond, clean install from media. For non-Windows alternatives, Fedora or Pop_OS mirror the desktop without hardware gates. This push tests trust. Microsoft prioritizes security amid rising threats, but the delivery feels coercive. Informed choices keep you ahead. Did your Windows 10 prompt the upgrade after Patch Tuesday? Running 11 on bypassed hardware without issues? Drop details in comments. I'll reply and track patterns. Stay vigilant.